I don't really remember my bris, but I'm told I wasn't that funny. On the other hand, bar mitzvah is also not the ideal venue for stand-up comedy. Don't get me wrong, it's great at 13 to already be a headliner. But, and it's nice, the canner opens for you, the rabbi calls you up, and you pretty much take it from there, and you can imagine it's, "Thank you, Rabbi." So, we have a great-looking congregation here this morning. Is there anyone from out of town? I see my great-uncle Sidney and Aunt Shirley from Palm Desert. Hey, you too. Thanks for that savings bond. That's going to mean quite a lot to me in 5 to 7 years. Anyway, this morning I'm reading through Parshas Pinchas, and incidentally I apologize for the way my voice cracked in chapter 25. And I'm thinking to myself, what is the deal with this Balaam guy in verse 6? I mean, it's like he's never seen a Midianite woman before. Am I right? Yeah, so you all are great. After the show, Steinberg Social Hall. Don't forget, I'll see you there. Try the herring. It was something like that. Obviously, I changed a couple names. My portion wasn't Pinchas, it was Nitzavim, but I'm sure Rabbi Cohen could back me up. Nitzavim, not as funny. And whenever you have the chance to use the word Midianite in context, you should just go for it. I learned that in a comedy workshop. So, speaking of rabbis, I definitely have never performed in front of this many rabbis as well. I mean, it started when Rabbi Katz called me and invited me to do this in the first place. And every time another rabbi RSVP'd, I found out about it. It was sort of like raising the Homeland Security alert level. By the time we got up to 4 rabbis, I knew this was pretty serious. I was going to have to watch what I say. But fortunately, I don't use any 4-letter words in my act. And I don't use any bad 4-letter words in my act. It would be quite a challenge to do an entire act without any 4-letter words. I mean, they're right there. The word 4 actually has 4 letters, and it's the only number that's like that. 1 is a 3-letter word, and 3 is a 5-letter word. 1,897 is only 34 letters. So I bet you all hadn't really considered that. So anyway, let's see, what else can I tell you about myself? For those of you who do not know, I am an only child. I just want to, I want to get that out there, because when people get to know me and then they find out, they say the same thing, which is, "Oh, you don't seem like an only child." And what they mean is, "Oh, you don't seem like a self-centered jerk who never developed social skills or would wish siblings for attention." And not sure what to do with that. Just go, "Thank you. You don't seem like the result of an unwanted pregnancy." I'm never sure if that's quite the right thing to say. So anyway, I was reading the Chronicle this week, and apparently I'm one of the people bringing big city comedy, so I guess I should talk about living in New York a little bit. Is there anyone here from New York? Okay. That's about the same response I get if I ask it there. Seriously, because, like me, most people there are, originally from somewhere else. We came from nice suburban homes, and we moved to New York to live in cramped apartments, work long hours to support ourselves, and dream of one day living a better life. It's sort of a sad undoing of everything our immigrant forebears accomplished for us. But we like it. And I actually recently, not too long ago, moved into a different neighborhood. I now live in Hell's Kitchen. That's just the name of it. But it's a little ironic, because my new apartment doesn't even have a kitchen. It's not entirely true. I have a stove and a fridge and a 3-foot by 3-foot scrap of tile. But I can't even joke about that in New York, though, because they'll just think I'm bragging. Mr. Big Shot's got his own kitchen. Doesn't have to share 8 roommates. But people there, we live like that because it's terribly expensive, and real estate's the worst part. Elsewhere in the country, when you're paying rent, the conservative rule is what, like 20%? Like rent should really not exceed 20% of your income, something like that. So if you're in Manhattan, you have to adjust that. you take the 20% and you add a 0. So 200%. So at the end of every month, you take your income, all your assets, and if after that you're halfway towards paying your rent, you're in pretty good shape. Yeah, it's tough. It is tough enough to sometimes consider desperate measures. For example, I got a jury duty summons, and it said failure to respond may result in a $1,000 fine or up to a month in jail. And I'm thinking, this is a no-brainer. Either I pay them or they put me up for a month. 3 meals inclusive, exercise yard on site. I mean, it's great. I could sublet my apartment, save on transportation costs because I'm not going anywhere, and I get out of jury duty. But I have to say, overall, I feel like I've adapted well. I mean, the Midwest will always be home, but I do feel like I fit in there. Whenever New Yorkers get to know me and they find out where I'm from, they always say the same thing, which is, oh, you don't seem like you're from the Midwest. What they really mean is, oh, where's that? But they mean well, and I do love my neighborhood. I mean, for a while, people were playing down the Hell's Kitchen name, but now they're bringing it back because there are all these wonderful restaurants in the area. I actually did an analysis, and within 3 blocks of my apartment, there are actually more Afghan restaurants than Starbucks. And just so you know, there are 4 Starbucks, because there are 4 directions. But no, it's true. On my street, I have a dozen different types of Asian restaurants. I mean, Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese, Korean, Thai. There's a great Indonesian place. There's even a Micronesian restaurant, very small portions. But it's good that there are so many restaurants because I do eat out a lot. I mean, I don't have much of a kitchen, and I don't really keep any food in the house other than what's in the freezer. The freezer is where I put food that I would feel bad about throwing away. I will wrap it up, and sometimes. But it's bad. It's bad because then things don't get done. Important things like going to the gym. I'm proud to say that I belong to a gym. I pay my membership dues, but it's really starting to feel a little like hush money. Look, if anybody asks, I was here 3 times a week. I'm thinking that maybe it might be easier if I just took up jogging or something. I have a friend who's training for the marathon. She started by running 4 miles a day, which is impressive but not impossible. I've run 4 miles before. Granted, it was while I was in high school, but that's still a mile a year. So, it's not a bad pace. Anyway, enough about me. Let's see. We sort of had a strange mixture of news this weekend. D-Day remembered, J-Lo remarried, and then all of the Ronald Reagan tributes. I turned on TV and there was a commentator who was saying this is a terrible loss. He was America's hero, and he was talking about Smarty Jones. Which, I don't know. Anyone here watch the Belmont? Okay. On Shabbos. I'm just kidding. I know everyone T-voted. No, I mean, it would have been nice to have a Triple Crown winner, but I have to say I felt terrible for the poor horse that won the thing. I mean, the odds were against him. It came down to the wire. He won it by a nose. He wasn't horsing around. Anyway, and then the jockey and his owner, they had to apologize for disappointing everyone by winning. And everyone was making excuses for Smarty Jones. Like, well, the Belmont is the toughest, longest of the races. I mean, come on, it's 1.5 miles, or wait, with 12 furlongs. I mean, I run 12 furlongs. I mean, granted, it was while I was in college, but still, that's about 3 furlongs a year. Okay, so is a great honor to be part of this event to raise money for adult Jewish education. My own parents are the products of adult Jewish education. Those of you who know them know how far they've come. But it's not just them. It's, you know, I mean, dozens of people in our community every year are touched by AOJ, adult onset Judaism. Have to pull out the AOJ more often. But I think it's wonderful that there are programs in place to help them. I mean, from what I'm told, it costs, it's more than $300 per AOJ student. But if you think about it, that's really just the price of a cup of coffee a day. Unless you go to Starbucks, it's a cup a week. But it's, you know, it's not that much. And it's important. And it's not just, you know, not just my parents' generation or that. I see it among my own friends. I mean, several have gotten more religious. And I know for some of them, it's a function of getting older. I mean, let's face it, a kippah has always been a great way to cover a bald spot. And, you know, I have some recession myself, but I guess you could call it a reform movement because it's mostly affecting my temples. Which is a little easier because then I don't have to wear a kippah. Yes, so, but anyway, the point is, and I will leave you with this, that it is never too late to learn. So if you have learned anything from what I've shared with you tonight, then I would be really surprised. But I certainly enjoyed sharing it with you. I hope you have as well. And if you're ever in New York, you are more than welcome to come use my kitchen. Enjoy the rest